In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a new product from Eachine, and it's actually a little budget goggle called the Eachine VR009. We're going to take this thing apart and to see if it's actually any good. I've been using it and I want to see how they compare to the EV800s. You have two versions of the EV800s, which are by far the best budget goggles you could purchase, and we're going to discuss if it's as good or not. So as you can tell right here, it's a pretty basic tiny little goggle, and it's much smaller than the EV800s. Also, the screen is going to be much smaller. So first, let's start with the external and the accessories, and then we'll move into the teardown and to see how well it compares. Now, as you can tell right here, we get a AV input right here, so you can put any kind of external module if you want. They give you this little nice carrying case. Also USB, micro USB to be exact, cable right here, because this has an inbuilt battery, so you can charge it. The battery gets anywhere between an hour and 50 minutes to 2 hours and 10 minutes of use before it dies out. Also, you get two crappy antennas, which I'd highly recommend you replace, and you get the instruction manual. Now, if we look at the goggle itself, first of all, the screen is much smaller than the EV800Ds, which is something you also want to take note of here. And with recent Eachine goggles, especially these tinier ones, sometimes I don't have a clear image and they give me a headache and everything is just blurry. This one is slightly better than those other ones, but it still does not compare to the EV800Ds in my opinion. Even though this one's at 44 bucks, I think the cheapest EV800s was around 54 bucks or something. So I'd highly recommend you pick that up. Now, in terms of resolution on this thing, it's a 3-inch screen, 16:9. The resolution is pretty low, 480 by 320, and you can definitely see the pixels while you're flying, and it does hinder your flying performance, as it did with me flying indoors compared to a decent goggle. So it does hinder your performance. It's not as good obviously as the EV800Ds, but let's take these apart and see what else they come with, because I'm very curious to see if it's really diversity or not. So as we're taking this apart, if you are new to the FPV hobby, I've created an application for beginners if they need any help. It's called AskFPV. It's currently available both on Android and iOS. Just search AskFPV. You can get that, and you get quite a lot of help there. It's really awesome. It's taken off quite good actually. All right, so now we've gone ahead and removed the 4 screws here. We're gonna start pulling this apart, and it might be a bit of a challenge at first because we do have this. It's just taped and just double-sided tape here. We kind of remove those a little bit, and we could pop off the top here. So looking at it right now, immediately what I see, this is not diversity. Now, if you don't know what diversity is, it just means basically 2 receivers that'll receive the signal in here. And if we pull the main board out here very nice and easy, we can get a closer look at what's going on. This is actually stuck in there pretty good here. So if you ever had to take this apart, you want to pull the main board with the screen, because the ribbon cable seems to be a bit short here. So under further inspection, what I found out is they've actually glued the screen into place right there with a little bit of hot glue. So you got to be careful with that. I don't know if I ruined the screen, but I don't think I did here. So now if we look at the motherboard here, we see again, we have just one receiver. It's just using 2 antennas, so it's not diversity here. It seems to be pretty basic. It's really nice that it has the AV input. So for example, if you wanted to connect an external module with some sort of a hack, or you could even probably use one of those module adapters for the DJI goggles, and you could plug your module into that and then the AV input into this, and you should be able to get video feed if you didn't want to use the inbuilt receiver here. Also, you know, the only real use case I find for this is, you know, it's cheap, it's okay, but the EVs are better. But another really nice thing you can do with this is basically use it for something else. Like you could probably just 3D print something. Look how tiny that is right there. All it is missing is the battery, and the battery's inside. And you can use any battery, 1S battery you want here, and you'll be fine. It's a pretty big battery actually compared to the other ones. So you can easily set this up and 3D print something for it and have a really nice portable screen. You also have your buttons right next to it with holes which you could align to wherever you want. So I mean, it's really nice in the aspect of its modability, what you can do with this. I mean, the sky's the limit here. And just be careful when removing the screen, because I broke mine with the screw. The screw just straight up punched right into it right here. With the glue, there was a glue holding the screen right there. So I'd highly recommend you get like a really sharp razor blade and just move slowly. It was just hot glue up top, right on that edge right there, and my screwdriver just slipped and bam, just popped the screen right there. so I'm not gonna be able to show you the screen right now. But yeah, the things you can do with it is really nicely, but as a goggle itself, I wouldn't personally recommend. I'd recommend the EV800 or the EV800Ds. Plus, these don't even have SD card recording capabilities, but they are nice to place somewhere because it's just so nice. Look how tiny they are. Man, this is really awesome, actually. I really like this a lot. You can do a lot with this. You know, you have your AV input, you have your dual antennas, which are okay. You have your USB charging capabilities right there. You have a receiver built in, and yeah, it's overall, you know, you decide for yourself, but as of using it, and I couldn't really fly indoors with it. It was kind of that bad, actually. So the resolution is pretty terrible, but again, I don't know what they're aiming with this goggle, but it's just another one that's flooding the market. And again, I'll have the ones that I link down below. Those are the two cheapest goggles you should ever purchase, are the EV800s. Anything below that or anything else really does not do good. The EV800s, and not only that, those are really nice because you can pop off the screen immediately and it just becomes a screen instead of just a goggle. You could just pop off that screen on them, and they're very useful. I have like 2 of them, especially later on when you upgrade in life. If you want to stay into this hobby, you could use those and just pop off the screen, give it to somebody so they could watch while you fly, and maybe you have a sky zone or something of that nature. And well, that's really it. Everything's linked down below. Make sure you check them out. I have 7% off discount code I got from Baygood, especially just for you guys, so you guys could use them on any RC related products. And I'll see you guys in our next one. Peace.